2:17 in the morning. A security guard named Harry is halfway through his overnight shift. He walks past a laundromat he's walked past hundreds of times before. Washers spinning, dryers tumbling, payment screen glowing. Not a single person inside. Those machines just earned $14, while Harry strolled by, earning $17 an hour, checking door handles. Michael Gerber touched on this exact idea in his book about small business. The businesses that actually survive long-term are not built on someone grinding themselves into the ground. They are built on systems that keep moving whether the owner is there or not. And the numbers support it. Businesses running on automated systems show dramatically higher survival rates compared to ones where everything depends on a single person doing everything manually. Harry is not just walking his rounds tonight. He is paying attention. Here is the problem that most people never talk about openly. Nearly 3/4 of Americans say they need a second source of income just to keep up with their bills. Over a third already have some kind of side hustle going. But the median side hustle brings in around $200 a month. That is it. Because most people solve the money problem the exact same way every time. They trade more hours, they pick up a weekend shift, drive for a rideshare app, pick up bartending on Friday nights. And honestly, it works for a while, until you are surviving on 4 hours of sleep, burning through your health, and slowly realizing you have not built a second income stream at all. You have just built yourself a second job. The math is brutal, and it does not lie. There are only so many hours in a day that you can sell. But a machine does not sleep. A digital product does not take vacation days. A system does not call out sick. That gap right there, the difference between selling your time and building something that runs on its own, that is the entire difference between working harder and actually working smarter. That thought is what Harry could not shake after that laundromat walk. He went home that morning, made a cup of coffee at 6, and pulled out his phone. Not to scroll, not to look at what was trending. He started researching businesses that could operate while he was clocked in somewhere else. Businesses where the owner did not need to be standing there for money to come in. He started calling it his sleep income investigation. Businesses where the work happens once and the revenue keeps arriving. What he found over the next few weeks genuinely changed the way he thought about money. The first one caught him off guard. ATM machines. Most people never stop to consider that private individuals can own these. Startup costs run around $3,000 for one unit. You find a busy location, a gas station, a barber shop, a small corner grocery store, work out a placement agreement with the owner, load the machine with cash, and let it run. Every time someone withdraws a 20, you collect a transaction fee somewhere between $250 and $350. The average machine processes around 300 transactions monthly. That works out to roughly $900 a month from a $3,000 machine, and about 30 minutes a week of your time to reload cash and check receipts. Harry wrote that number down, $300 to $1,500 a month, depending on where the machine is placed. 30 minutes a week. He circled it twice. Not bad for a box that just sits there. Then he looked into vending machines. Same basic concept, different product. A basic unit costs between $1,500 and $6,000. You fill it with snacks, drinks, or specialty items like protein bars or phone chargers. Place it in an office building, a gym lobby, or a laundromat, and collect the revenue. Monthly income typically runs $300 to $600 per machine, with 1 to 2 hours a week for restocking and collecting cash. The vending industry is on track to reach $25 billion by 2027. What really grabbed Harry was a story about an operator who built a $300,000 a year vending business working 4 hours a week. Not 4 hours a day, 4 hours a week. One person, dozens of machines, all of them running in lobbies and break rooms across the city, while the owner was home sleeping. But Harry noticed something about both of these models. They require physical equipment, physical locations, cash to load, and product to restock. So he kept digging, specifically looking for something with no physical inventory at all. That search led him to print on demand. Here is how it works. You create a design, a phrase, an illustration, a graphic. You upload it to a platform. When someone orders a shirt or a mug, or a phone case featuring your design, the company handles printing, packing, shipping, and any returns. You never see the product, you never touch it. Profit margins sit between 70 and 90% because you carry zero inventory. Startup costs range from nothing to around $500. The print-on-demand market crossed nearly $13 billion last year and is growing at 26% annually, 3 to 5 hours a week once things are running. Harry sat back and thought about that. No warehouse, no delivery coordination, no cash to reload, just designs and a laptop. Now here is where Harry ran into a wall, and this matters because it is exactly where most people stop. He had been deep in research for 3 straight weeks. Tabs open on every device, YouTube videos saved, spreadsheets half finished, ATMs, vending machines, print on demand, plus a dozen other ideas stacked on top of each other. And one night after his shift, he sat staring at his phone completely frozen. Too many options. Every business looked promising on paper. Every single one had someone online swearing it turned their life around. And every single one had someone else calling it a complete scam. He could not choose. He could not start. He was buried in information and doing absolutely nothing with it. Gerber actually wrote about this exact trap. Most people who fail in business do not fail because they chose the wrong thing. They fail because they never chose anything at all. They stay in research mode indefinitely, getting very good at preparing and never actually executing. Harry, sitting in his studio apartment at 4 a.m. with 37 browser tabs open, recognized himself in that description immediately. So he did something uncomfortable. He stopped researching, closed every tab, took his savings, $2,300 he had been building for 11 months, and bought his first ATM machine. Not because it was the perfect choice, because it was the possible choice, the one he could actually afford that week with money he already had. That idea is worth holding on to. The best business is not the one with the highest upside. It is the one you can genuinely start right now. But what if you wanted to think bigger? Because those first 3 businesses are entry points, not destinations. They are where you begin when you have more ambition than capital. The next level is where real separation starts to happen. Digital products and online courses carry startup costs ranging from $0 to $5,000. You build something once, a course on personal finance, a template bundle for small business owners, an ebook based on years of experience in your field, and then you sell it over and over again. No restocking, no shipping, no location agreements. Revenue potential runs from $1,000 to $7,000 a month. 2 to 5 hours a week once the product exists. The upfront work is real. It might take weeks or months to build something solid, but once it is live, it sells at 3 a.m. on a random Tuesday while you are asleep. One product selling to strangers all over the world, repeatedly, without you doing anything additional. Which is exactly the whole point. And then there is the business that started this entire investigation. Laundromats. Harry remembered that 2:17 moment, those machines running in the dark with no one watching. The laundry industry brings in $5 billion a year in the United States alone. Buying or building a laundromat costs between $200,000 and $600,000. Serious capital. But monthly revenue ranges from $5,000 to $30,000 depending on size and location. And here is what makes it qualify as a true sleep business. Modern laundromats operate on card payment systems, remote monitoring apps, and automated alerts when something needs attention. 4 to 15 hours of actual owner involvement per week. Some operators run multiple locations entirely from their phone without leaving the couch. Harry looked at those numbers and something clicked into place. That laundromat he had been walking past for 3 years, the one that kicked off this whole investigation, the owner was probably not losing sleep over it. The owner was probably sleeping because of it. Now here is the one Harry was not expecting. The one that shifted his entire understanding of what a business could be. Self-storage facilities. On the surface, completely unexciting. Metal buildings, rolling doors, padlocks, nothing remotely glamorous. But underneath that plain exterior sits one of the most consistently profitable business models in the country. Startup costs are high, $1.5 million or more for a new facility. But the revenue ceiling is higher than anything else Harry had looked at, and the time commitment with proper automation drops to under 2 hours a week. Here is why that is possible. Tenants sign up and rent a unit online. Payments process automatically on a recurring schedule. Late fees apply automatically without anyone having to chase anyone down. Access is managed through electronic gates and keypad codes. There is no inventory to deal with because the customers bring everything themselves. Overhead is minimal. A small facility does not require employees. Maintenance needs are low, and customers tend to stay far longer than you would expect. The average self-storage tenant keeps their unit for over 14 months. That is 14 months of automatic recurring revenue from one customer who signed a lease once and basically never leaves. Gerber's core idea in its cleanest form. A building that generates income through systems, not through labour, not through hustle, not through showing up at 2 a.m. Harry stared at that one for a long time. He could not afford it anywhere close to right now, but he could see the path clearly. Start with the ATM, stack the profits, add a vending machine, build a digital product on the side, reinvest everything back in. The self-storage facility was not some far-off fantasy. It was a milestone on a road he was already walking, and that road, the one that goes from a $3,000 ATM to a multi-million-dollar storage operation. That is exactly what Gerber was writing about. Systems building on top of systems. But Harry had one more business on his list, and this one flipped something he thought he understood completely. Airbnb rental arbitrage. You do not own the property. Read that one more time. You do not buy a house, no mortgage, no down payment, no $300,000 in capital required. Instead, you rent an apartment or house with written permission from the landlord, furnish it for $5,000 to $15,000, and list it on short-term rental platforms. The gap between your monthly rent payment and your nightly booking revenue is your profit. $1,000 to $3,000 per unit per month. Some operators run 5, 10, even 20 units this way, without owning a single piece of real estate anywhere. The whole thing runs on a system: automated booking, automated guest messaging, a cleaning crew on a rotating schedule, dynamic pricing software that adjusts your nightly rate based on real-time demand. Harry had spent his entire investigation assuming you needed to own things to make money from them. This model proved him completely wrong. Harry leaned back and looked at what he had in front of him. 7 businesses, 7 different systems, every single one built on the same principle that Gerber laid out decades ago. Work on the business, not inside it. The ones that last are not powered by one person grinding until they break down. They are powered by processes that repeat themselves without needing permission, supervision, or someone setting an alarm. 3 months after buying that first ATM, Harry checked his account. $317 from the machine that month after expenses. Not life-changing money, not early retirement money. But here is what was life-changing about it. He earned it while working his security shift, while sleeping, while doing his own laundry, while watching something on TV on his day off. $317 landed in his account from a machine sitting in a convenience store 7 miles from his apartment. And for the first time in his adult life, He had made money without trading a single hour for it. That is the real freedom moment, not the dollar amount, the realization. 20 years of working had given him 20 years of believing that money only comes when you physically show up for it, that every dollar requires a timestamp and a punch card. And one ATM machine in a gas station on a random route proved that belief completely wrong. The businesses that survived their first year almost universally have one thing in common. They built systems first and relied on showing up second. The question is not which of these 7 businesses is the best one. They all work. The real question is, which one can you start with exactly what you have right now, this week, before the research paralysis buries one more good idea under a pile of browser tabs. It is 2:17 in the morning somewhere right now. A laundromat is running with nobody inside. A vending machine just dropped a protein bar for a night shift nurse. An ATM just printed a receipt in an empty gas station. And someone's online course just sold to a stranger in a completely different time zone. Those owners might be asleep right now. They might be clocked into a day job. They might be sitting exactly where you are, watching this, wondering if any of it is actually real. It is. The machines do not know what time it is. The systems do not notice you are not there. The money arrives whether you are awake or not. The only thing standing between you and that first machine, that first product, that first listing, is the same thing that almost stopped Harry. The belief that you need to figure out everything before you start anything. You do not. Pick one, start one, build one, and let it run while you sleep.